Hey all, Paint Marine here with a kind of a review video of uh, kind of the new Age of Darkness kit. Now I just wanted to do a quick comparison kind of video between the resin Horus Heresy like Forge World models and plastic, and kind of my thoughts on this new direction they're going with a lot of the plastics, or a lot of the Forge World models coming over to plastics. There's some good and bad to both sides. So I guess basically first off is Forge World resin can be a really huge obstacle for some people when they're first getting into buying something from Forge World. Resin is a lot different to work with. It requires a bit more prep before you actually build the model, and kind of extra work to make sure everything kind of goes together well. Some of the issues is, of course, warping is kind of the biggest issue, which actually lately I've noticed, at least in the products I've gotten, not to have that issue as much. It also seems like they're using a different kind of resin from in the past. The past definitely was a lot more kind of a brittle kind of material, but now it's I don't know how to explain it. It's almost got kind of a plastic feel to it, but it is resin, and it's a lot easier to work with, I suppose. I guess not any harder than it was before, but maybe because of this new type of resin they're using, it's not, at least again, it doesn't seem as prone to warping as in the past. But that could also be a product of the fact that they are now stocking Forge World models in the States. I don't think they're actually manufacturing them over here, though. So I don't know if that's the case, then that wouldn't really, if they're not manufacturing them here, which I don't think they are. I think it's all still in the UK. I could see where that could potentially alleviate some of the warping issue, because it doesn't have to travel across the ocean. But if it's still being manufactured in the UK, it still has to cross across and then sit in a warehouse here. And it's not as far as I know, they don't quality check them again after they've received them here. But anyway, yeah, so I want to first show you this model. Is the one I have more recently readily available. So this is a resin kit from Forge World. It is the Sicaran Punisher. The last time I worked with this kit, so the official one was just a regular Sicaran, but I did work with a Punisher before. It was for a client that I was doing a painting commission for. And I've talked about this before in past issues, kind of the gray area and the issue I have with working with recast. Now, the client, he provided the model, and it was a recast, and I'm very on the fence about painting stuff like that, because it is stealing, whether you agree or not, of the high prices or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, it is stealing. But at the same time, as a commission painter, sometimes there's kind of that moral gray area. I mean, what am I going to do? It's not my model. I didn't buy it. However, I am almost supporting that practice because I did take it on and paint it for the client. In addition to that, I mean, after it leaves my paint desk, I don't really know what the client did with it. If they kept it for their personal collection and it was just a personal model for their own games and stuff, or they could have turned around and sold it as genuine Forge World, because at that point, once it's painted, unless you can strip it down, and even then with the discoloration of after having paint applied, it may not be as easy to tell that it was a recast, especially after the amazing paint job I did, not to toot my own horn. But yeah, so it was actually a great pleasure to get to work with this one, because it was a lot easier than the recast. I will say that much, even though the quality was I mean, we all know the quality of recast can be pretty good and pretty spot on, but the type of resin that we use is usually have a really pungent odor, and can have some brittle in different places, and there can be a lot of other issues. There's a lot of cleanup with flashing and mold lines, but lately, Forge World has really been on point. This, I had no warping, I had no misalignments. It really came off really nicely, and just all together really great. Now, I didn't fully do the side sponsons on this the way that you normally would with all the wires and everything, and mainly that's because it comes with the heavy bolter option as well, and I just have one magnet in there, and instead of trying to like magnetize everything, I just kept it easy, so you just, you know, just swap in the guns on and off or whatever. So just, you know, basically comes off really easily and just snaps back in there. So yeah, overall I can't really complain too much. Like I said, this really went together really easily, really well. No major issues to clean up. Like the gaps were very minimal, very minimal, to the point where I didn't really even need to use any like green stuff or milliput or anything of that nature. I just put a little bit of extra super glue, like the thick gel super glue in there, and kind of just, you know, evened it off, and it was good. The only I guess issue that I had for whatever reason on this one, like I was able to get this side sponson, like it can keep its own and kind of like turn. You can position it pretty well, and it's pretty stiff. But not the same on this side. This one is like super loose and always wants to just kind of like hang down, and it's, I don't know. I might add a little bit of glue in there and then just kind of like go back and forth so it doesn't like dry and actually keep it in place, but that way it'll kind of like add a little bit of a texture, something to grip on. But yeah, so I will say the benefit to this compared to the new plastics is the piece count. So with the resin models, they generally, like, you'll have very few pieces, quite a few like large pieces as assemblies. It goes together and boom, you're done. So like this whole section here, this whole side tread is one piece. There is no extra pieces putting the treads on. Especially the treads can be really annoying to put on depending upon the kit. But yeah, so that was one piece. The turret probably had like the most kind of pieces, but even the turret itself, I mean, you have the turret, this magazine thing, like the feed chain, or the feed tray, or not tray, I don't know what you call it now. Anyway, like this feed belt, the gun itself, this little sponson arm thing. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then like the top hatch, 7. So 7 pieces right here. When in I don't know, a Forge World kit of the same, or a plastic kit of the same, it's probably gonna have a decent amount more just on this alone. And then on the main body, you have your 2 sides, this top plate that meets down with like this front part here. I can't remember. I want to say there was this kind of top kind of plate area here, and then this top part where the turret goes on. And then you have on the bottom like this piece again. Then you have the bottom plate, and then this back plate, and then that's pretty much it. And then you have the engine pieces. Like I said, I can't really, there was like really nothing to it. And again, with the quality, I feel like they've gotten better and better with these. So there wasn't nearly as much. And this is a smaller of model. I mean, yes, it's not a Marine, but even the Marine resin kits I've gotten have been really great. But kits, vehicle kits are usually the ones where you're going to run into issues with misalignments and warping and stuff like you do with the smaller like infantry or you know, unit, I don't know, little Space Marines or whatever. Like usually their weapons, a sword or something like that, is where it tends to warp, but the rest of it's usually pretty decent. But vehicles, a lot of times you'll get some pieces, especially like you'll get some crazy ones too. Like you might get something like a tread. Like it's kind of rare because it's such a thick piece, but sometimes those thicker or bigger pieces can warp somehow, and then they can be a real pain to fix. Now Forge World does have great customer service where you can reach out, and a lot of times they'll send you the piece, like no real questions asked. So just be like, here you go. I do know in the past some people were even getting like full on new kits altogether, and then put in the time and effort and got the one piece that was warped fixed, and then they had like 2 kits, one they got for free, which I think Forge World was noticing people doing that, so they just kind of like stopped doing that, or I don't know the whole reasoning why they stopped doing that, but they'll definitely get you the part that you need a replacement for. Because I had an issue with my or not my Sicaran, the the Astraeus. I had a huge issue with the front of my Astraeus, and they sent me like a whole new front end. Really awesome. So you can do that. Like with the Astraeus, it was gonna be too much of a, I don't know, not even a hassle. It just seemed too hard, or not even really plausible for me to try to fix. So that's why I reached out to him. But for the most part, it is pretty easy. You can get a blow dryer or hot water. I always suggest trying to do hot water and just slowly like get it back into place. The problem with a heat gun, especially a heat gun, can get really hot really fast, and you can actually damage and melt the resin. And kind of the same thing with a blow dryer. It can heat it up too much, and you can get kind of like out of control warping and stuff like that. And the only suggestion I can have for that is if you're gonna do that, and you gotta be careful because of electricity and water, but I would get like a big tub of whatever with colder water in it. So that way, if you do heat it up and it becomes really flimsy, you can kind of try to hold it in the position you need and then go dip it in the cold water. So that way it solidifies its shape quicker or holds its shape better. So, all right, so let's talk about this plastic kit. And I do want to share something, especially with this Spartan tank. Now this thing is awesome. I love it. It was kind of a pain to put together just because of all the pieces. Now, like this whole, like even as far as Land Raiders go, the 40K version of the Land Raider almost has only like a couple pieces for the side. Really, it's like one big side piece and then another big side piece that kind of sandwiched together. You put the treads on, and that's kind of like how it's done. But this here, and I think it helps a lot, and you avoid some of the issues like with the repulsor. The repulsor also had like the whole side was one piece. This side piece here, I'll take this off real quick. This side piece is like 3 pieces, not counting the door that goes on. You have like a middle section, a front section, and a back section. And that's just one half. There's a whole nother half on the other side that I think was broken into 4 sections, and then it had 2 little pieces that go in the middle. So it's kind of 6 pieces that then you sandwich those together, and then you put on your treads and everything. And I think that's a huge benefit. It was a little bit of a pain because there is more pieces to cut out and to clean off a little bit, but the result is you don't have like any major issues with gaps or anything like that. Now, if they would do something like that with the repulsor or the current or the old version of the Land Raider, I think it would be way better kit. And yeah, so I really love this kit for that reason, and it's just a great looking kit. So side sponsons go on really simple. This one's again, well, that just fell off. A little bit looser than I would like. And as you can say, like you just spin it and it keeps falling right off. And I may put a little bit of glue there. I kind of did that already on this side because this one was very loose as well. So it's not as bad, but I may need to re-attack that. So there are not really any options here for the side sponsons. You just get the, I don't know what you call it, quad las cannons or whatever. But up here for this gun, there are many different options. And I just glued the spotlight, the smoke grenade launcher, the hunter kill missile on there just because it looks cool. And I may or may not bring it. It's kind of technically not WYSIWYG, I guess. I just didn't feel like trying to magnetize all those little things. I didn't magnetize this. I just left it loose. There are many other options you can put up here for your spindle or your, I don't know what you really call it, your gunner up here, but I only have one right now. I think it's the twin linked bolter or combi bolter. I'm not sure how they call it. So I put all my extra weapon options in here. I don't really plan on painting the inside because one, I've assembled it, and I don't really usually worry too much about the insides. I'm not making this like a display piece or a diorama piece where I'm gonna have lights on the inside. And even still, a lot of times you can get away with just brushing in the inside and maybe doing like a dry brush or something just to kind of pick up the details, and you can put like an LED light, like a red light in there or something to make it tactical. And then you can turn it on, and then, I mean, you can still see the details, but the red light washes everything out anyway, so you don't really need to paint all the different little details. But anyway, so I'm just using it to store all the extra weapon options that you do have. So, like I said, boom, that's easy enough right there. But what I wanted to show, the cool thing here is I did magnetize this. So right now the las comes right off. So I put 2 magnets on the inside, on the actual inside of the turret piece, and then I drilled and put these 2 magnets there, and then I put this little spacer in between because I noticed It was kind of hard to keep them in and have them look kind of level and straight. When I would just put them on individually, like especially with like the last cannons and longer guns, they would kind of like go every which way, and I would try to like tweak them, and I just couldn't get it right. So I took a little bit of extra sprue off, just clipped it, threw it in there, and like I said, easy enough. Oh, drop that one, but I'm gonna open this up. Oh, get the other two options. So the other one side from the LAS, you have heavy bolters. Again, you know, just, I don't know if it'll kind of focus, but just two things. Put a little tiny piece in between to kind of make it thing, and then boom, just goes right in. Easy day. And the turret still moves everything, and it looks awesome. And again, same thing. Put a little spacer here in between the flamers. Got the magnets right there. Boom. Easy. Look at that. It's awesome. So let me put these last cannons before I step on them and break them or something. But yeah, really awesome kit altogether. Super easy to magnetize, especially with this here. This is the Wow Stick drill, and it is awesome. They had a Kickstarter. You can find it on Amazon. I know there's like other kind of power drills. I really love I love it for everything. It made it so much easier, and I couldn't have got this at a better time, because it made it so much easier for me to do stuff like this here when taking the new Mark 6 and taking like the Headhunter upgrades and combining them with this, because I was able to pin through all the way through the body to the legs, to the arms, the head. Just really worked out great for this, and really in general I'm able to pin everything easier, which is a huge thing with resin. Now, I didn't pin anything with this, and for the most part with the amount of super glue and the contact points, it shouldn't need pinning, but sometimes it can be a good idea, especially with huge models. I would say like the Stormbird, Thunderhawk with the wings, you might want to get probably a bigger drill than this to get some good pins, or you're going to want to put like bigger pins through like the wings just to kind of help, because those can be pretty heavy. So that would be a good idea. But again, with the plastic kits though, you don't have to worry about pinning or any of that kind of stuff. Like I say, it can be a little bit more of a pain just because of all the pieces. Instead of having 7 pieces, you have 27. But really, the results kind of speak for themselves, in my opinion. Another one I want to show is this here, the new Contemptor. It's really awesome. Now, I had the old plastic one of this that came, what was it, the Betrayal at Calth set, I believe. It had one, and I had made it for my Cacardons, which have long since been sold, sadly. But that was a pretty monopose plastic Contemptor that we got. This one is not monopose, and you can make some pretty cool poses with, and it's really awesome. With this too, I'll pull up, you get all these different weapon options. I had to make kind of a decision with the fist, with what weapon to put in the palm. I just went with the Melt-A-Gun. I thought it was the most kind of generic looking, because really with these you can kind of just, I don't think it has to be too WYSIWYG when it comes to these, because you can be like, oh, he's armed with the plasma, and as long as it's on your points list and everything, I think it really shouldn't be an issue. Shouldn't, I say, always, but it's never an issue till it is, right? Kind of put this away. But yeah, so really, really awesome, and kind of a nice benefit to him is I haven't decided yet with the frag launcher thing at the top. I haven't magnetized or anything yet. I kind of messed up. If I was going to magnetize it, I should have done it earlier, because before I put this top plate on, I would put a magnet on the inside. I keep dropping everything. And then on the bottom here, it's open. It got a spot where I could easily put a magnet right there, and then boom. If I want to do it now, it wouldn't be that hard. I could just drill and put a magnet there, but I don't know. Then I'm going to have kind of a magnet bald spot, which I know all about, kind of getting bald spots now. But I don't know. I may just glue it. I'd have to look. I don't know really what the points cost is for taking this launcher, so who knows? Maybe I'll just glue it and he'll always just be one that takes it. Or in friendly games, I can be like, he doesn't have the launcher, okay? Like, I'm not gonna like try to play that like, oh no, he already has it, or he really does. But with this, you don't have to magnetize. The arms are pretty, like this one I need to add a little bit more glue to. It keeps kind of slipping. But for the most part, they just kind of sandwich in there. So you have all your different weapon options, and they just kind of fit right up in there. So I got the melta gun. Here we go. We got heavy bolters that fit on there pretty good. And like I said, you don't have to do any kind of crazy things. So the auto cannons come off. I can throw this arm. Super easy, super awesome. You can still kind of move everything. I like this Contemptor model more than I thought I would. I'm not like a big like Dreadnought runner. I don't run a ton. And now that I'm like kind of sold a lot of stuff, I don't really have any anyway. I do have the Alpha Legion Contemptor Dreadnought, like this specific one for them. And now I have this guy. And I definitely am going to pick up probably the Relic Contemptor kit and the upgrade sprues, because like I said, like the sprue thing, like I know you kind of pay a premium for them, but at the same time you don't have to buy a whole nother model that way, which is awesome that they're doing that, especially with the way things are now. I don't know, I really like that, and I'm just really excited with all this stuff in general. Like I had a whole huge salamander army that I could play with 30k or 40k. Now with 40k, I've gone strictly Primaris with my homebrew chapter, but this new 30k kit or set that's come out and everything has really gotten me back in the mood for some 30k. And while I was building my salamanders, I had started getting stuff from Alpha Legion 30, which was going to just strictly be 30k. And I just never kind of got around to painting them or doing anything with them. As I've shared recently, I just finished up Alfarius, which he's actually up here now. And that went really well, and I'm very, very happy with the way that turned out, and looking forward to getting into the rest of the models. I have all of the Mark 6 built up, except they don't have shoulder pads or heads on, because I'm kind of waiting to see what those upgrade sprues are going to look like. I know they've been doing them for different legions, and slowly they're coming out, and being the 20th, I guess that means that at the end of the list. But yeah, and I don't know, I'm gonna kind of go over it later. I got some book review videos finally coming up. I'm trying to roll back into the swing of things on how what I used to do with like my book reviews and stuff. But I've always been like a fan of Alpha Legion, and they're kind of like, aren't they bad guys kind of thing. But I started reading a lot of different, like, Alpha Legion. Was just read Alfarius, and man, as much as I love my salamanders, and salamanders are definitely my favorite loyalist legion, you could argue Alpha Legion is potentially loyal as well, but Alpha Legion is hands down. I have a soft spot for my salamanders, but Alpha Legion is my legion. Like, that is, there's just so much about them that, like, and yeah, I really, really, really enjoy them. And I'm going to dig more into that as I do my review on the Alfarius book, as well as I do 2 other short stories, and kind of just then ramble on more about why I love the Alpha Legion so much. And while I've always loved them, now I definitely am just infatuated with them, I guess. So very excited about that. I think it's all good. So rambling, let's conclude this up, right? So rambling all aside, there are benefits to both your resin and your plastic. Definitely a big plus with plastic, though, is bringing some of these kits over makes them cheaper than their resin counterparts. I definitely think they're bringing over, the whole range, that would be just crazy if they did. But I think they're bringing over the ones that sell the most, they're more popular ones, and they'll still keep more of the niche versions on Forge World. So I assume the Sicarian will be the only Sicarian that comes over, potentially for now. And they'll keep all the other Sicarian variants on Forge World. Same with, I want to say same with the Dreadnoughts, but they've brought over the Leviathan and the Dreadnought and a Contemptor, or a Relic Contemptor, which basically is just another upgrade sprue. and then the upgrade weapon. So you pretty much, except for, and there is a rumor though that they're coming out with Legion specific Dreadnought upgrade kits. So instead of having like the Alpha Legion, the Salamander, Contemptor Dreadnoughts, they're going to come out with a whole new kit, which is just like an upgrade sprue for the Dreadnought, which would be cool. It would be, but it will be sad if that means we will no longer see the Legion specific Contemptor Dreadnoughts, because I do think those are pretty cool. And I don't think that an upgrade sprue will ever quite match the quality and the coolness that are those models. But we'll see if that that rumor holds true or not. So yeah, pros and cons are, there are pros and cons. So very inconclusive review, I guess. But really, you just got to see what you need for your army and kind of go from there. There's not really anything that I guess, unless you just want to strictly stay with the plastic models, it would be interesting to see, just based off of what they've released so far. And I don't know what else is releasing other than they have the Randlater Proteus that's coming out. So if you were to buy, let's just say buy one of everything. So you get the Age of Darkness box set, you get the Sakaran, the Leviathan, both will do a shooting and an assault, the Relic Dreadnought with the shooting options and the assault, and just kind of like from that, and then the new Land Raider Proteus. What does that army look like? How competitive is that army? Can you build that army just out of plastic? And if you could, out of those kits, and you can like rearrange them, like definitely leave in the comments below. I would really be interested in what people's ideas are with just using the plastic kits that we know of as of right now. What would your list look like? So like how many Dreadnoughts, Land Raiders, Mark 6, all that kind of stuff. And because I guess they have the Cataphracte and what's their Phobos, I think. I can't remember what the other Terminator is that they just re-released again, basically reboxed and re-released, or Tartaros maybe, I don't know. But based on all the Horus Heresy plastic kits, what your list would look like and what Legion would you play them as? That would be very interesting to know. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments below what you think of that. Hopefully my rambling was at least somewhat entertaining as you're painting or doing whatever hobby related, building, painting, whatever. So yeah, greatly appreciate the watch. If you wouldn't mind, check out my Facebook page where you can see different updates and projects I'm working on, as well as every now and again I just pop in with my views and thoughts on there real quick, or a funny meme here and there related to the hobby. And then also check out the YouTube channel where you'll find more videos of me ranting and rambling about stuff like this, talking about Horus Heresy, or not just Horus Heresy, but different 40K books I'm reading, or any other projects and stuff like that going on. I'm definitely going to be putting out a video while I'm up at Nova. It's been kind of touch and go with that. I wasn't going, wasn't going. Now you can't even get refunds. I'm definitely going, but it's not going to be the same Nova I've done before. I am not participating in any tabletop, I'll say, stuff. I'm doing seminars, which I haven't done before, which will be fun. I didn't get into all of them because it was kind of a late go, so I didn't get into some of them that I wanted to, but there are a few that I'm in that should be interesting. But I'm also going to be doing some other things. They got some board game events where you just basically go learn how to play and then jump into a tournament, and we'll see how that goes. Trying to kind of break out of my comfort zone a little bit and meet other people and meet new hobbyists, gamists, whatever you want to say, and just have a good time up there while I am there, and experience Nova from a different angle than I have. I'm also going to be going to the GW preview, so I'll probably give a recap on my thoughts on that after that event. So I do know, like, I'll be in the actual event, and as things are revealed in the event, I think they're going to live stream it. I'm not really sure, but as things are revealed there, they will also put it up on their website, so everyone will get it kind of at the same time. It's just whether or not you're in the room or not, which is always pretty cool to be in the room. Yeah, it'll be really, really cool and interesting. So again, thanks for watching. Check out the links below, and until next time.